Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Celiac Train. Again, I'm just going to talk about my top 3 most disturbing symptoms from celiac disease, alpha-gal, and Lyme, which I got diagnosed with over the last year and a half, 2 years ago now. And I'm not going to go into super detail about these symptoms. I already have a video that I'll post at the end of the video if you guys want to go into super detail about them. But I'm just going to kind of touch on those. And then I also just kind of wanted to touch base on how my recovery has gone and how those symptoms have improved. So make sure you stick around in the video, like I said, and there'll be a link at the end of the video if you guys would like to watch the super detailed version of those symptoms. So anyways, if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe, like the video. It helps me spread the awareness of celiac disease, alpha-gal, and Lyme disease. So make sure you subscribe and join the community. Anyway, stick around. My top 3 most disabling and disturbing symptoms are coming up next. So anyways, I just want to start off by saying these are no means in order of worst to, best to worst or worst to best. I'm just kind of like picking them as I go. So moving on, number 1 is actually going to be heart palpitations, and these kind of started late winter to early spring of 2021. And I'd like to say this kind of just came out of nowhere, like in the late winter to early spring of 2021, shortly after my celiac disease diagnosis, but before my alpha-gal diagnosis and Lyme diagnosis. And it just kind of really, took its toll on me. And, like nobody could really tell me exactly what was going on. I actually ended up doing some allergy shots late summer to early fall of 2021, and actually it made things a lot worse, I feel like. And I kind of dealt with the after effects of that for a while. But my heart rate would be like 120, 130 sometimes, and I hadn't even done anything really. And of course that really limited any kind of working out that I would do, because I was reacting to everything, whether it be food or my environment, like weather stuff, hot and cold. It was like I was in this, on this teeter-totter, and like it was very easy to just tip the scale. And one way or the other, and I would just, my heart rate would shoot up. And anyways, that's kind of like the long story short of it. But how am I doing with that now? Well, I'm doing a lot better, fortunately, now. About a year later, I've done a whole lot of stuff, my recovery and whatnot, as far as celiac disease is concerned, alpha-gal and Lyme and all that. I'm trying to make another video of, stuff that I've actually done to help with that. I'll just throw a few things out there, like, some Epsom salt baths and stuff. Trying to, rebalance my minerals, using like red light therapy and stuff like that. So it's all been very helpful. Also like trying to work on drainage pathways and whatnot. So those are a few things that have helped with that. Moving on to number 2 now is going to be shortness of breath. I would like to say this also kind of started, all of a sudden, but really looking back now, I can see where shortness of breath was actually a pretty big factor in, a rather chronic issue for me. I just didn't really know exactly what it was. But, looking back several years ago, like, I was kind of like sighing a lot, or, just like taking a deep breath, maybe when I didn't have to, and just really, feeling like I wasn't getting enough oxygen, even though I was breathing. And this kind of transitioned into more of actual, I couldn't breathe, period. Like my diaphragm just was not working. I think that was because there was a lot of inflammation going on, and, some nerve stuff going on. And I just could not, draw that diaphragm down to expand the lungs and get a nice full breath of air. So anyways, that's kind of, long story short again, but yeah, that was, imagine, you're doing anything, like any kind of daily activity, you need to be able to breathe, right? It's a necessity, right? We need oxygen. Not being able to breathe was like probably one of my scariest symptoms. If I had to put like a number 1 on it, the heart palpitations were pretty scary. And it came with a lot of panic, but as far as like chronic issue, I think breathing, or difficulty breathing, or shortness of breath, or whatever you want to call it, SOB, son of a bitch. Oh, I just said that. Yep. Probably like my most disturbing symptom overall. a lot of the stuff that I did with that I felt was most helpful was probably, rebalancing my minerals, and also using red light therapy. Um, because I feel like that the red light therapy really helps with like the stimulation of the muscle and everything, and like stimulating blood flow. And I feel like that's what I was kind of lacking in the diaphragm area and the lungs themselves. So, um, and also I would just like to add in, there's like some asthma stuff going on too. Like I was wheezing sometimes, and that was never something that would happen. Early adulthood or childhood or anything like that, I never had any kind of wheezing issue. So, to have that and the shortness of breath, I kind of including those together because, when I was wheezing, I was short of breath. So, it just feels like, it's natural just to loop that in there together. We're into number 3 now, heartburn. Just because the heartburn was so bad at one point, I could hardly eat it all. So, that's 2 essential things that you need, right? The food, being able to eat, and oxygen, right? So, those were 2 extremely scary symptoms. And with acid reflux, I was just so miserable, and it's just like the only thing I could think about. Like, and I think I've been dealing with the heart palpitations as well for part of that while I was dealing with the heartburn. And let me tell you, it was so debilitating. I could not get out of bed in the morning. Um, But I chose to keep fighting and get to the bottom of what was going on, whether it be worst case scenario, or in my case it was just a lot of chronic issues that was going on. Probably chronic imbalance of minerals. I had Lyme. I had autoimmune stuff going on, which your body is not made to attack itself. Like, there's something causing that. So I think it was just a lot of chronic inflammation. I was going through some difficult times mentally at the time, and dealing with like a loss of a loved one and everything. And it was just a lot to deal with. And fortunately, it's taught me a lot about my body and how the body works and everything. And I've spent a lot of time researching stuff. And fortunately, I was able to come up with some remedies, and it was a little bit difficult trying to put all this stuff together, but it feels like I'm finally starting to round the corner, so to speak. So, anyways, some of the stuff I did to help with the heartburn was like, a lot of slippery elm tea, um, avoiding a lot of acidic foods like chocolate, coffee. Although my last little bout of acid reflux, I was still having coffee. I just cut out a lot of the spicy food and chocolate and stuff to help keep that down. Um, actually, I had to cut out a lot of my supplements too, and just kind of get to the bare bones of things, and a lot of fasting. So, that was, oh, and can't forget apple cider vinegar. Taking a couple tablespoons of that, a day with water. So all of that, definitely helped a lot with acid reflux. And of course, I just want to say, I'm not a doctor or anything. I can't diagnose or treat anybody. So please make sure that you're seeking medical attention if you need any. Okay. Or before you start any new supplement or a regimen or anything like that, make sure you check with your doctor. Okay. So, anyways, I just want to give you a little update on my symptoms currently and how they progressed. So after all that I've done, I am feeling a lot better, heart palpitation wise, a lot better breathing wise. I can actually get a full breath of air again, expand the diaphragm, get a full breath of air. Also, acid reflux is feeling a lot better too. Now I still do have some flare ups or whatever you want to call it. I just dealt with acid reflux like about a month ago or something like that for about 3 to 4 weeks. I was dealing with acid reflux most of the evening. So, but of course, I implemented a lot of those strategies that I was talking about, and it eventually went away. I think part of it was to like minor like sliding hiatal hernia or whatever you want to call it. So, I also threw in some stretches to help with that, and bam, started feeling a lot better. So, And also, the heart palpitations, of course, have felt a lot better. Actually, I will say today, I did have a minor flare up too. Didn't freak out as much as I used to. Took some antihistamines, felt much better. So, again, the histamine bucket probably overflown. And also, because I had been dealing with some stress and, um, actually I had been using a cleaner on the carpet, and I feel like that might have been some chemical sensitivity, going into that, again, environmental stuff, right? And that was right before I went out to try and load the truck with a bunch of 100-pound logs. So, probably not the best idea in hindsight, but, I was still trying to prove the fact that, I was feeling better, and, I wasn't going to get heart palpitations, but, it happened anyway. So, but with the heart palpitations, I've actually been able to work out again, without getting them. Or, if I do feel like it's coming on, I just take some, full breaths of air, and, eventually it goes away. And I don't end up actually having to need an antihistamine. So, it's nice being able to take care of issues, whatever your body is thrown, whatever's thrown at your body, you're actually able to take care of. So, I feel like I'm in a much better position now, to be able to deal with stress, whether it be like environmental stress or emotional stress or physical stress or whatever you want to call it. So, much happier now as far as that's concerned, and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So, anyways, I hope you guys learned something. So make sure to check out those symptom videos, the ones in detail, so to speak. Like the video, subscribe. It helps spread the word about celiac disease, alpha-gal. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.